Hello, today I am going to share with you a little bit more about my language learning journey, and I'm going to share with you some resources that I haven't shared with you in the past, but that some people have requested. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Patricia Brooks. I am an American expat living in the south of France. And now I help people who are ready to start the next chapters of their lives living and thriving in their dream countries. I help them to move through fear and self-doubt, uncertainty, to find that determination and grit deep down so that they can finally stop dreaming about it and finally start living it. And on this channel, I talk about my life in France, about moving abroad, and how to find that confidence and courage so that you can live the kind of life you know you deserve to live. And today I'm going to talk about language learning, my journey, some tools and resources that can be helpful to you, and where I am now, what phase and what I am doing now to go even further in improving my French language skills. All right, so I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how I learned French. When I was in the United States, before I moved to France, I started learning French or relearning French using the Pimsleur method. Now, this is an audio program that I found somehow, not really sure how I happened upon it, but it has been a game changer in my language learning. I would listen to a 30-minute lesson every day on my morning walk, and I would repeat the prompts, and that seemed to work magic. And I did this because I was planning a trip to Quebec City, Canada, and I wanted to speak French with the locals. So I got to Quebec City that first time, and I started using the words and phrases that I'd learned, and the Quebecois thought that my accent was pretty good, and they thought that I spoke French fluently. And that was really encouraging. So after returning, I continued studying using Pimsleur, and that's what I did for from 2014 to 2018 until I moved to France. When I got to France, I had a good solid base of the language, but I really needed more. I thought I was hot stuff until I realized that I've only just scratched the surface, and that's when I signed up for a proper French class, which was what I needed. I needed to be able to read it. I needed to be able to write it. I could speak it a little bit, but I needed to be able to speak it better as well. And so this 6-month program did that for me. It helped me to advance and feel more confident. I got an understanding of grammar and the structure and why I was saying the words and phrases I was saying that Pimsleur helped me to speak. And so that was how I progressed. Then I started to watch YouTube videos by French language teachers, and that has been really helpful. And so I wanted to share with you 6 YouTubers that I follow and whose content I watch to help me improve my French, because it has been requested a couple of times, and I thought this would make for an interesting video. All right. So the first YouTuber, the YouTube channel is called French Comprehensible Input. And the YouTuber's name is Luca. And what I like about this channel is that he will read episodes of the comic strip or comic book Tintin. And he reads it with such energy and emotion. And it's all in French. So as he's reading it and he's getting to words and phrases that you might not know, he's describing what those words and phrases mean in French. And he'll use 2 or 3 different ways to get that point across. In case that you don't know what one word means, he will give you another. And through that, you are hearing the story of Tintin and his dog. And he's so animated as he is helping you understand the story. Like if the dog barks and he reads that in the text, he will sometimes go, woof, woof, right? Things like that really bring the story to life. And so that is truly entertaining for me. It is at a level that's not too high, but high enough that for me to watch a 15-minute episode, I am actually learning some words and phrases that I don't know even at the level that I am. So that is the first one, French Comprehensible Input. And I'll put a link to all of these in the description. Okay. The second one is French School TV, and the YouTuber's name is Vincent. And what I like about this channel is there is an element of grammar. Now, I still am learning French grammar, and from time to time I write something and in my mind I'm not clear on which part of speech I need to use. And so it's helpful for me, or how I should use it. So it's helpful for me to go to this channel and search the term that I'm looking for to get some clarity on it. And he breaks it down in such a way that makes it clear, helps me to remind me of how I should use it, and then I can go about my business. I also like the fact that he does live streams, I believe every Tuesday, that are engaging and help you to learn and understand the French language. At the end of his videos, he will give you a task to maybe respond to, a question to respond to based on what he has taught in the lesson. And then you can answer that question in French in the comments, and he'll go behind you and see how you did. And if it needs correcting, he will correct it. And I think that is very helpful as well. So that is French School TV. All right. The third YouTube channel that I want to share with you is French with Nelly. Now, she is, I believe, based in Paris, and she is a French teacher, but she's also in the process of learning English, which is helpful when it comes to her compassion or understanding of how difficult it can be to learn a new language. And I think her bringing that element makes it feel safe to learn. And you kind of get the sense that she really gets how challenging it can be to learn a foreign language. Now, with French with Nelly, I get the opportunity to test my level of French, because she will often have videos that are expressions, French expressions, or words that meet a certain level, a B2 level or a B1 level. And she will, go down the list, and it's great to learn new vocabulary. And often, even at a B2 level now, she will have some words or phrases in it that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And so it's very helpful. So that is French with Nelly. Are you in the process of learning a foreign language, French or Spanish? If you are, I would love to know which YouTubers you watch in order to improve your language skills. And I ask for Spanish because I am in the process of learning Spanish as well. So I could use some suggestions on YouTube channels for learning Spanish. All right. So go ahead and type those in the comments. Now, the next YouTuber is French with Elisabeth. And what I really like about her channel is a couple of things. She has vlog content, but she also has content with real conversations. She and her husband will have a conversation. And as they're having the conversation, she will flash on the screen the word that you might not understand and a description or the meaning of that word in French. And it's helpful because it's a normal conversation. It's not something that is put on. It's words and phrases and expressions that she and her husband will use on a daily basis. And that is so helpful in moving forward with the language, because for me, where I am now is I've got a good grasp of the language. What I need now to fill in the gaps is those words and expressions that are at the tip of my tongue, in English, but how do I say those in French? And I'm always searching for the nuanced way to say what I want to say. As a speaker, as a writer, that is so important to me. So I find a lot of value in those real conversations that she has. In addition, like I said, she will put the meanings on the screen. And so you can pause and take note. And I believe that she also even has PDFs that you can download. I haven't done that yet, but that is also something that she offers. So that is French with Elisabeth. Oh, and the other thing that I like about her is that she is Belgian. So what that means is that sometimes she and her French husband will have conversations about French culture, right? And so you get to see her perspective on French culture as a foreigner living in France. And so for me, as a foreigner living in France, that's particularly interesting to me. Now, the fifth YouTuber that I follow is French in Plain Sight. Now, where the others are native French speakers, he is not. He is English. And so his videos are typically in English. But what I like about what he brings to the table is he help you build confidence in your language learning ability, right? He also helps with pronunciation. And I think it's valuable to have different inputs for learning. You know, there are different areas in learning a language that are important. And for me, what he brings to the table is understanding the challenges as a non-native French speaker, challenges of pronunciation, the challenges of complexity of a language. Like he has one video on how do you pronounce plus, right? Sometimes it's plus, sometimes it's plus, and he will break that down. And so I think that is really helpful. Now, this is, like I said, is all in English, so you don't necessarily have that French flowing over you, but you've got those other videos that will help with that. And I do want to say with the native French speakers who are speaking in French, it's typically at a slower pace. And I'm at a point now where I find myself sometimes speeding up the pace or the speed of the video, because for me, I'm so much more used to that French that is spoken at a faster pace that it almost feels too slow for me. But if you are newer, you will really enjoy the pace of all of these French teachers on YouTube that I have just shared with you. Now, there is one more video or one more YouTuber that I find very helpful in terms of language learning in general, and that is Olly Richards. So he is not about one language. He is about language learning in general. And some of his videos talk about learning French. He talks a lot about how we learn a language and the things that we need to do to speed our language progression. And I find it really helpful as a complement to the French more class or French content to have videos that talk about how we learn and how our brain works to learn a new language. Because as you're learning a new language, you want to be strategic about it. You want to do the things that are going to help you learn it in as an efficient manner as possible. So Olly Richards is a good one for that. All right. So those are some YouTube channels that you can check out for learning French. And as I asked, if you have others, please share them in the comments. So I am quite pleased with where I am with my French language skills. I had planned to take the DALF exam, which is the Diplôme Approfondi Langue Étrangère. This is a test that I would take that would give me a level. I'm going for the C1 level, which is advanced. And this would give me a diplôme, which is valid forever. Now, I've taken the TCF, the Test de Connaissance du Français, 2 times, and the results are valid for 2 years. And then they expire. And this last test that I took is good for, the score is good through February of 2025, which is right around the corner. But it's really not that helpful to me because what I will be using this for is for French citizenship. And recently, the rules have changed. In January of 2024, instead of needing a B1 level, which is what I was tested at with the TCF exam that will expire next year, it's gone up to a B2 level. And so I've decided to take the DELF exam, which, as I said, is good forever. And I'm deciding to take it at a higher level than necessary to avoid any chance that I'll take the B2 and then I'll need a higher level. So I was planning to take that in December. I started studying for it. I started doing the reading comprehension, and I did 3 exercises. And after that 3rd exercise, I recognized that I'm not there yet. And in a month or 2 months' time, I don't think that I will get there. It's a 4-part test, so there are other parts that I could do well in, but I have to do sufficiently well in the reading comprehension as well, and I want to. And so I'm devoting my study time, instead of doing the exercises in the book, to reading harder pieces of written work. And right now I'm in the process of reading a book called Des Le qui disent, and it's by Edouard Philippe, who is the former Prime Minister of France. And what I find helpful about this book, it's challenging for me, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's at a good level for me. And so that keeps me reading. Like if it was just so hard all of the time, I don't know that I would continue to read it, but I'll read 3 pages and I'm like, oh yeah, I really understood that. I didn't have to look up any words or too many words. And then I'll get to the next 3 pages and I was like, oh my gosh, what are these words? What is he trying to say here? And so it's kind of like a give and take. I also like the fact that it is about the French political system, talks about the schools here, things that I don't really have a good grasp on because I wasn't raised in France. I didn't go to French schools. I don't really understand the political system. And I think this will give me a good basis because for the test, the written comprehension, the articles are hard. They're more like university level readings that are detailed and intricate that you wouldn't just read every day. And so I'm training myself at that level and hoping to give myself a base of enough cultural understanding that when I do take the DELF, that will aid me as well. So that is where I am in the process. I feel like I am at a much different phase than I was in the beginning when I got to a place where I felt comfortable, where I called myself fluent. I think I took my foot off the gas and that's fine. But now it's time for me to, buckle down and get back to this daily practice, which I have done, even though it feels like I don't have the time. And I think that is the key with any language learning practice, is that you need to be consistent in doing it because your brain picks things up and starts to build those synapses that connect, but only if you do it consistently. So that is my language learning journey. Those are the YouTubers that I enjoy most watching and helping me to improve my French language skills. Are you familiar with any of those? If you are, let me know that in the comments. Now, if you are interested in watching some French programming from where you are now, there is a channel. There's a streaming platform called France Channel, which has the largest library of French content, French movies and films and TV series and children's programs and documentaries. And they're accessible to an English-speaking audience with subtitles. The quality of these programs is wonderful. So if you are interested in improving your French language skills by watching France Channel, or if you're just interested in French culture and French content, this is something that would definitely benefit you. And if you're interested in taking advantage of a 15% discount either on a monthly or annual subscription, you can use the promo code Patricia 15. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description so you can check it out if that interests you. And I hope that you take advantage of that. So that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.